I'm going to make my way to the console so that we can start getting real practical. But I think as we move forward, we want to ask, how does this mindset that we're adopting, how does it change things? So the first thing that I want to point us to is the importance of clarifying the win, right? We need to identify what success is for everybody on the team, so that from the senior pastor to whoever's communicating, to the tech director, to the worship leader, to whoever's involved, we all are on the same page with where the win is. Because it's only when we know where the bullseye on the target is that we'll know whether or not we're hitting it, right? And then when we hit it, we can celebrate it together. When we miss it, that's the only way we can evaluate it together. So I think as we start, when we've been out with Chris for all these years, we have a really good picture of what the win is for Chris. Do you guys want to talk about that at all in terms of, how you're approaching your kind of a night or an event or whatever, in terms of how you see through that filter of, okay, here's what success is in Chris's mind, so here's how we sort of unpack that in our minds and how we execute what we do.
Yeah, man. I'm Matt again, guys. Good to meet y'all. Thanks for coming tonight or today. We've been inside for so long it feels like night. Thanks for coming. This is going to be fun. For us, at least, it's probably not something we talk about a whole lot, but where we're headed is leading the church, leading you guys, leading groups like this every night into the presence of God. And we can get so distracted with a million different things, our own personal technical things, our home life or whatever. But the win for us ultimately is what it is for Chris. And I guess that's what it should be for all our teams, is the win for the worship leader is where we're all headed, all the support staff, all the folks that are kind of lifting him on their shoulders so he can take us places. I know that that's what we keep in mind, You guys have anything to add to that? The win for Daniel would be that his mic.
You got to keep him guessing every now and then.
It's all good. I'm used to it. No, I'm just kidding. I think one thing that what Chris says a lot, and that I've heard that I think we kind of all hold dear, is just to love and serve the people that are walking through the door, whether that's at your church or in our case, a lot of the times that's a ticket buyer that's coming in. And Chris's heart has always been, and I think these guys will attest to that as well, is like the entire church. Like, it's not just like the people here on the front row or the people that are the most excited. It's, small children up to grandfathers and grandmothers that are coming through the door, bought tickets, and they, just trying to put your mind and maybe in the headspace of what they're coming in with, and how do you love these people and serve them. I know that's one way that one thing we always talk about as a band is like, hey, we want to just love the people that are coming through the door, and how can we, how can you do that, whether it's the way that you're prepared or your countenance or the way that you smile at them or look at them or help lead them. And I think knowing that we're aligning with where the worship leader is, what his goal is for the night, then if we kind of all get on board with that, then, then you at least, like you said, what your goal is. And
yeah, and I think for me, standing behind the console, I know that one of the biggest ways Chris feels like, and other worship leaders that I've worked with feel like, there's an engagement and people are sort of being taken on this journey in worship, is if he can get to the mic in a real familiar song, start the chorus, back up, and just kind of have everybody take it. And there's this, this just outpouring of, corporate worship. And so for me, if just from a real practical standpoint, if I'm, as the guys are getting on stage, or even during walk-in, if I'm looking around and I see, down at the end of the row, I see the guy who's, starting the concert like this, and his wife dragged him, or he didn't want to be there, and he's just not sure what he came to. He starts like this, and he doesn't know these songs, and he's just standing there. And if I can get him to the point through what he's hearing in the PA to start singing along and to release some of that closed off feeling, and if he starts like this and ends like this, then that's a huge win for me, because I know not only have I helped take him on a journey with the guys and with Chris, but the win that Chris has set up of sort of leading people to encounter the presence of God is, it's been accomplished, and